Amara's hands trembled as she shielded her face while a ceramic
I
plate flew
told you
past
to
her
leave.
and shattered against the wall behind her.
Get out of my
The
house
sharp
now.
crack echoed through the living room, followed immediately by the roar of her husband Tunde. 10 years, Amara, 10 useless years, and still nothing to show for it. She didn't answer. She couldn't. Her throat felt locked, strangled by a pain she no longer knew how to express. She only clutched the edge of her wrapper tighter and whispered, "Please, Tunde, calm down." "Calm down?" He took 2 quick steps toward her, breathing hard. "My mother is right. You are cursed. What kind of woman stays barren for a decade and still expects to be called a wife?" "I've gone to every hospital with you," she said softly, her voice shaking. "I've taken every test they asked." "And every result says the same thing," he barked. "You're the problem." She flinched, not from the volume, but from the words. Words she had heard for so long they no longer needed volume to hurt. But today was different. Today something in Tundi had snapped. Before she could speak again, the front door burst open. His mother stormed in with 2 of his sisters behind her. Their expressions were hard, determined, victorious. "Is she still here?" the older woman hissed, pointing at Amara as if she were filth. Tundi's voice turned cold. "Not for long." Amara's heart thudded painfully. "What's happening?" "You're leaving," his mother snapped. "Today, right now. We've tolerated your uselessness long enough." Tundi's sisters moved past him and headed for the bedroom. Within minutes, they were dragging out her suitcases Amara didn't remember packing. Clothing spilled from the zippers as they threw them onto the floor. "I don't understand," Amara whispered. "Tunde, please, we can talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about," he said flatly. "I want a child. And clearly that will never happen with you." Her knees weakened. "So you're ending our marriage?" "Marriage?" His mother scoffed. "This arrangement ended the moment we realized you have nothing to offer." "But I'm your wife," she whispered to Tunde. He wouldn't meet her eyes. Instead, he motioned to the door. "Leave, before I lose my patience." Tears slid down her face, but she didn't fight. Something inside her was too tired, too worn to resist anymore. She bent to pick up her suitcase, but Tundi's sister snatched it first. "Don't touch anything," she spat. "Just go." Amara walked to the door on shaking legs. Before she stepped out, she turned and looked at her husband, really looked. The man she once loved was gone, replaced by bitterness, pressure, and pride. She inhaled shakily. "May God forgive all of you," she whispered. Tunde rolled his eyes. "Just leave." And she did. She walked out with nothing but a handbag, a crushed spirit, and 10 years of pain trailing behind her like invisible chains. Outside, neighbors pretended not to look, but she felt the judgment, the whispers, the pity. Her cheeks burned with shame. She kept walking until she was far enough from the house. Only then did she finally break, letting a harsh sob escape her chest. She pressed a hand over her mouth to silence herself, but the pain refused to be quiet. "Where do I even go?" she thought. Her phone buzzed weakly in her purse. When she checked it, she saw a single message from Maya, her only real friend. "If you need me, I'm here. No judgment." Amara hesitated for a moment before typing 2 words. "I'm coming." Hours later, after a painful bus ride and a long walk, she arrived at Maya's small apartment in the city. Maya opened the door instantly, her eyes widening at Amara's empty hands, puffy eyes, and trembling posture. "Oh, Amara," Maya whispered, pulling her into a tight hug. "What did they do to you this time?" Amara couldn't speak. She only clung to her friend and wept. "Come inside," Maya murmured. "You're safe now. I've got you." For the next days, Amara barely spoke. She slept. She cried. She stared at the ceiling. She replayed the insults, the smashing plate, the accusations. The moment she walked away from the home she built for a decade. On the 4th morning, she finally rose and said quietly, "Maya, I need to work. Something small. I can't keep sitting here." Maya smiled gently. "I've been waiting for you to say that. I know a place, the community library. They're hiring for a part-time assistant. Very calm environment. You'll like it." Amara looked down at her hands. "I'll try." She started the job 2 days later. It surprised her how much peace she found among books, quiet hallways, and the soft laughter of visiting schoolchildren. She didn't realize how starved she had been for gentleness. One afternoon, while arranging children's books on a low shelf, she heard small footsteps behind her. A little girl, maybe 6, stood silently, staring at her with wide blue-gray eyes. "Hello," Amara said softly. "Are you looking for a book?" The child didn't reply. She only reached out, touched Amara's sleeve, and leaned her small head against Amara's arm. It startled her, but it felt comforting. A deep voice spoke behind them. "I'm so sorry. She usually doesn't do that." Amara turned. A tall man stood by the reading table, dressed in simple jeans and a dark shirt. His face carried exhaustion, heavy under the eyes, but his posture was protective. The child clung to Amara more. "It's okay," Amara said gently. "She's sweet." The man nodded. "Her name is Lily. I'm Nathan. She, doesn't warm up to people easily." Lily wrapped her arms around Amara's waist, as if contradicting him. Amara chuckled softly. "Well, she's welcome any time." Nathan looked at her for a long second, something unreadable flickering in his eyes. "Thank you, really." Amara knelt to Lily's height. "Do you want me to read you a story?" Lily nodded immediately, tiny but sure. Nathan's eyebrows rose in surprise. Amara smiled and chose a picture book. As she began reading, Lily crawled into her lap without hesitation. Nathan watched them, stunned. After the story ended, he approached slowly. "Miss Amara." "Amara," he repeated as if committing it to memory. "Would you consider spending more time with Lily? Maybe after your shifts? She hasn't connected like this with anyone since—" He stopped himself, swallowing hard. Amara softened. "I can try, if it helps her." Nathan exhaled in relief. "It would help more than you know." Neither of them realized that this quiet moment was the beginning of a new life, one that would test them, heal them, and eventually change everything Amara thought she knew about love, family, and worth. Amara didn't realize how much Lily had already attached to her until the next afternoon when she reached the library early and found Nathan pacing near the entrance with Lily clutching his pant leg. The moment Lily spotted Amara, she broke free and ran straight into her arms. Nathan let out a breath that sounded like relief. "She wouldn't stop asking for you. I didn't think she'd—" He shook his head lightly. "Thank you for coming." "I work here now," Amara said gently, brushing Lily's hair back. "You don't need to thank me." "I do," he replied quietly, and there was sincerity in his eyes she didn't know how to process. The next week became a pattern. Every day, Lily wandered into the library with Nathan trailing behind her, usually looking stressed or tired, but always softening the moment he saw his daughter smiling with Amara. Amara read to Lily, helped her draw, taught her small word games. Lily rarely spoke, but she laughed with Amara, little soft giggles that made Nathan's lips twitch into something close to a smile. One afternoon after story time, Nathan approached her with hesitance in his voice. "Amara, I hope this isn't too forward, but would you be open to perhaps working with Lily more formally? As a part-time caregiver? I can adjust the schedule around your library hours. She's more at ease with you than anyone else." Amara blinked, surprised. "I don't have formal childcare training." "I'm not looking for a professional," Nathan said softly. "Just someone Lily feels safe with." He hesitated. "I'll pay well. You deserve that." Amara frowned gently. "It's not about money." "I know," he said, almost embarrassed, "but I want to do this right." Amara looked down at Lily, who was holding her hand tightly, her small fingers warm against her skin. There was no fear, no hesitation, just trust. "All right," Amara said quietly. "I'll help." Nathan's shoulders relaxed. "Thank you." The first day she visited their home, Amara froze on the walkway. She hadn't expected the large gate, the long driveway lined with trimmed hedges, or the sprawling modern house sitting at the end like something out of a magazine. She turned back to Nathan, stunned. "You live here?" He looked almost apologetic. "Yes, I should have warned you." I didn't realize. I don't advertise my lifestyle," he said, "and I didn't want that to affect your decision." Amara's chest tightened. "I see." Before she could say more, the front door flew open and Lily appeared, bouncing slightly on her toes. She tugged Amara's hand and dragged her inside with surprising enthusiasm. Nathan chuckled softly. "Well, she's excited." Inside, the house was elegant but quiet, too quiet. No warmth, no laughter, no family photos except one near the staircase. Nathan, Lily, and a smiling woman Amara immediately recognized as the late wife he had avoided mentioning. Lily led her to the living room and began pulling out her toys. Nathan watched them from a distance, leaning on the doorway, expression unreadable but softening by the minute. Amara knelt beside Lily and helped her arrange puzzle pieces. Nathan eventually joined them, sitting on the carpet far less gracefully than he probably intended. Amara bit back a smile. "You're laughing at me," he accused lightly. "I didn't say anything." "You didn't have to," he said, and she looked away, unfamiliar warmth rising in her cheeks. As days passed, the bond grew deeper. Lily began whispering occasional words to Amara, simple ones like yes, no, and again. Nathan noticed every tiny change with a mixture of awe and heartbreak. One evening, after Amara finished reading Lily a bedtime story, Nathan walked her to the door. "You're really helping her," he said quietly. "She's helping me, too," Amara replied. Nathan studied her face, then asked softly, "Is that why you sometimes look sad when you think no one is watching?" Amara froze. I didn't know I looked sad." "You hide it well," he said gently. "But I've seen it." She looked down at the floor. "I had a difficult past. I'm still healing." He nodded once, as though he understood without needing details. "I won't ask unless you want to tell me." That simple respect pulled something tight inside her chest, something she hadn't felt in years, safety, but safety didn't last. One Friday evening, after she finished her shift at the library, she stepped outside and found someone leaning against a parked motorcycle, tall, familiar, dangerous in his stillness. Her stomach dropped. Tunde. He didn't look like the proud husband she remembered. His face was thinner, his shirt wrinkled, his expression flickering between anger and desperation. "So it's true," he said coldly. "You ran here?" Amara froze. "What do you want?" "You disappeared," he snapped. "You didn't even try to come back home." "You threw me out," she said quietly. He flinched. I wasn't thinking right." "You never were." He stepped closer. "Listen, Amara, my mother and we've talked. Things are different now. I've changed. You still blame me for everything," she said. "Walk away, Tunde." He grabbed her wrist. Amara gasped, trying to yank her arm back. "Let go." "I'm your husband," he hissed. "You're my ex-husband," she said sharply. "You ended the marriage, remember?" And then suddenly Nathan's voice cut through the tension like a blade. "Is there a problem here?" Tunde's grip loosened. He turned toward Nathan, irritation twisting into confusion. "Who are you?" Nathan stepped forward, eyes icy, every line of his posture protective. "Someone she doesn't want harmed." Tunde scoffed. "This is between me and my wife." Nathan's jaw tightened. She said, "Let go." Amara forced herself to step back. "Please leave, Tunde." Tunde's eyes flicked between them, Amara trembling, Nathan steady as stone. He sneered. "Oh, I see what's going on here. You replaced me quickly, huh?" Nathan moved slightly in front of Amara, blocking her from Tunde's line of sight. "Leave before I call security." Tunde spat on the ground, glaring. "This isn't over." He started his motorcycle and sped off, leaving a cloud of dust and tension behind. Amara stood still, trembling. Nathan turned to her gently. "Are you okay?" She shook her head. "I'm sorry you had to see that." "You don't have to apologize for someone else's actions." She swallowed hard. "That was my past." Nathan softened. "And you're allowed to leave it behind." But neither of them knew that the past wasn't ready to let go. Not yet. Nathan didn't push further. He simply offered to walk Amara home, and though she hesitated, she nodded. The air between them felt heavier than usual, charged with fear, anger, and something else. Something gentle. They walked in silence until Amara finally whispered, "I thought I was done with him." Nathan's voice was low. "People like that don't give up control easily." She nodded, wiping her eyes quickly as if embarrassed. "I'm sorry you saw me like that." "Amara, you don't have to hide anything from me." Nathan slowed his pace so she wouldn't feel rushed. "You're not weak. You survived something he couldn't handle even for a day." Her breath caught at his words. They sounded too tender, too understanding. She didn't know how to process kindness after drowning in cruelty for so long. When they reached Maya's apartment building, Nathan stopped. "If he bothers you again, tell me. I'll handle it." "You don't need to get involved," she said softly. "I want to," he said gently. Not because I pity you, but because I care. Her heart fluttered painfully. She didn't know what to say, so she simply whispered, "Good night, Nathan. Good night, Amara." For the next few days, she tried to pretend everything was normal. She worked. She read to Lily. She avoided the places where Tundi might appear. Maya, being Maya, noticed instantly. "You're jumpy," Maya said one morning while handing Amara a cup of tea. "Talk to me." "It's nothing," Amara murmured. "It's never nothing," Maya said, folding her arms. "Is it about that man?" Amara sighed shakily. "He found me. He wants me to come back." Maya's eyes widened. "Over my living, breathing body?" Amara finally smiled weakly. "I'm not going back." "Good," Maya said firmly. "You deserve peace, and that man? He was your prison. Peace." Amara wanted that word to be true so badly, but trouble came sooner than she expected. A week later, Amara was helping Lily arrange picture cards in the living room. Nathan had stepped out for a business call. The house was quiet, comfortable, Lily humming softly under her breath, Amara laughing when Lily placed the elephant card on top of the sheep card. Then the doorbell rang. "Is Daddy expecting someone?" Amara asked. Lily shook her head. "It's okay," Amara said. "I'll check." She opened the door a crack and froze. Tunde stood on the porch. He pushed the door wider with his palm, stepping inside without permission. "So this is where you've been hiding?" Amara's voice trembled. "Tunde, you can't be here." "Why not?" he snapped. "Your new man owns the place, or are you his maid?" Lily made a small frightened sound. Tunde looked at her and frowned. "Who's the kid?" Amara immediately shifted, blocking Lily from his view. "Leave, Tunde." "You think you're better than me now?" he hissed, "living in houses like this, walking around with rich men?" "Keep your voice down," she said, panicking as Lily clung to her leg. Tunde ignored her and moved farther into the house, scanning the interior with mocking disbelief. "So, this is what you wanted? A man with money? That's why you couldn't give me a child, right? You were too busy. Enough." Nathan's voice boomed from behind them. He stormed into the living room so fast, Tunde stepped back instinctively. Nathan's eyes were dark with fury, jaw clenched so hard a muscle twitched. He placed a hand gently on Lily's shoulder, then pulled her behind him. "What are you doing in my house?" Nathan demanded. Tunde sneered. "So this is the rich boy." "I said," Nathan repeated slowly, dangerously, "why are you in my house?" Tunde scoffed. "I came for my wife." "Ex-wife," Amara said firmly, surprising even herself. Tunde's expression twisted. "You think one fancy house changes who you are? You belong with me." Nathan stepped closer, voice like steel. "No, she doesn't." Tunde glared at him. "Back off. This is not your concern." "It is," Nathan said, "because she works for me, because she protects my child, and because you are scaring her." Tunde's nose flared. "You think your money intimidates me?" "No," Nathan said, "but I do know the law, and if you don't leave right now, you'll be escorted out by people who take their jobs very seriously." Amara's heart pounded. Tunde looked unhinged enough to fight, but he also looked scared. Scared because he knew Nathan wasn't bluffing. "You'll regret this, Amara," he spat. "You think this man cares about you? He'll get bored just like I did." Nathan's fist clenched, but he didn't move. Amara forced herself to stand tall. "Leave, Tunde. There's no place for you in my life anymore." Tunde stared at her for a long second, stunned at her boldness. Then he shoved past Nathan and stormed out, slamming the door so hard the frame rattled. Silence followed. Heavy. Electric. Lily whimpered softly. Nathan immediately knelt and wrapped her in his arms. "You're safe," he whispered to her. "I'm here." Amara stepped back, exhausted, her knees shaking. Nathan stood and turned to her slowly. The fury in his eyes melted into concern. "Amara," he said softly, "are you hurt?" She shook her head, unable to speak. He hesitated for a moment before taking a slow step toward her. "You don't have to be afraid of him anymore." A single tear slid down her cheek. "I didn't want him to find me," she whispered. "He won't come back," Nathan promised. She looked up at him, searching his face. "How can you be sure?" "Because I'll make sure he doesn't," Nathan said firmly. I'll protect you. The words hit her like a wave, comforting, terrifying, intimate. She was too overwhelmed to answer. Nathan stepped back slightly, giving her space. Come sit, he said gently. You're shaking. She sat on the couch, hands trembling uncontrollably. Nathan disappeared into the kitchen and returned with a glass of water. She drank slowly, trying to calm her heart. Thank you, she murmured. You don't need to thank me, he said quietly. You didn't deserve any of that. She nodded, swallowing hard. I don't know why he came. Control, Nathan said simply. Men like him can't stand losing the person they mistreated. It threatens their ego. Amara closed her eyes. He ruined so much of my life. Nathan lowered his voice. He won't ruin this part. She opened her eyes, meeting his. There was something warm there, something patient, something she didn't dare name, but she didn't know that soon. Everything she believed about her past would unravel, and the truth would change everything. Nathan didn't leave her side for the rest of the evening. He stayed close enough that she felt safe, but far enough that she didn't feel cornered. Lily clung to Amara for a long time, her little arms wrapped tight around her waist. It wasn't until Amara carried her upstairs and read her favorite story 3 times that Lily finally drifted off. When Amara came back downstairs, she found Nathan in the kitchen, leaning against the counter with his arms folded. He looked up the moment he heard her footsteps. You don't have to stay, she said quietly. He shook his head. I'm not leaving until I know you're okay. She didn't argue. She didn't have the strength to. Nathan pulled out a chair for her. She sat, resting her arms on the table. He sat across from her, watching her with a softness she wasn't used to. What he said, Nathan began carefully, none of it was true. Her gaze dropped to her hands. I know. Do you? He asked gently. She exhaled shakily. I should, but words like that, they leave scars. Nathan nodded, leaning forward. What he said about you, about your worth, about your ability to be a mother, he said those things to control you, not because they were true. Amara blinked rapidly, fighting the sting in her eyes. Sometimes I wonder if maybe I failed him. No, Nathan said firmly. He failed you. A real man doesn't break his partner and then blame her for the cracks. The words hit her deeply. She looked up at him, heart twisting with something painfully tender. Why are you being so kind to me? Nathan hesitated for a long moment. Because you deserve it, because you're good, and because I care what happens to you. Her breath caught. He noticed, of course he did, but he didn't push the moment further. Instead, he stood and reached for his coat. I'll head out, he murmured, but if you need anything at all, call me. She nodded slowly. Thank you, Nathan. He paused, his hand on the doorknob, looking like he wanted to say more, but instead he simply said, Good night, Amara, and left. The next morning, Amara woke with a strange mix of fear and clarity. She refused to let Tunde or his family steal one more hour of her life. She opened her phone, fingers trembling, and dialed the clinic where she used to run test after test during her marriage. Hello, the receptionist greeted. How can I help you? Hi, Amara said softly. I need access to my old medical records. Certainly. Your name? Amara Bello. There was a pause, too long of a pause. I'm sorry, ma'am, but there is a note here saying your files were transferred and sealed by request. Amara frowned. By request of who? Your husband at the time, the receptionist replied. Her heart stopped. Why would he have the authority to do that? He presented documentation signed by your in-laws and a doctor. He said it was for insurance purposes. Amara's skin went cold. Can I get a copy? Now? I'm afraid sealed files can't be accessed without an appeal process. It may take several months. Months. That couldn't be right. Why were her records sealed at all? Why was her husband involved? When she ended the call, her hands were shaking uncontrollably. Maya noticed immediately when Amara arrived at her apartment. You look like you saw a ghost. Close, Amara whispered. Maya pulled her onto the couch. Start talking. Amara told her everything. The sealed records, the authorization, the in-laws, the doctor. Maya's eyes widened with every sentence. Girl, this is shady, Maya said. Why would they seal your records? I don't know, Amara whispered. What if I wasn't infertile? Maya blinked. You think they... I don't know, Amara said again, breath trembling. But they hated me. They blamed me for not giving Tunde a child. His mother said I wasn't woman enough. His sister spread rumors. His father said I was a burden. And they controlled everything, Maya murmured. Yes, Amara said. Even my doctor appointments. Tunde always insisted on being there. He controlled when I went, who I saw, what results I got. I never received a written report, ever. Maya gasped softly. Amara, what if they lied to you? Her chest tightened painfully. Why would they do that? Why sabotage me? Because they needed someone to blame, Maya said darkly. And you were easier than admitting their son was the problem. Amara covered her face. This can't be real. Maya grabbed her hands. We're going to find out the truth. How? Amara whispered. The records are sealed. Then we find another doctor, Maya said. A new one, a real one. Someone who can run tests now. That will tell you everything. The suggestion terrified Amara. What if the results confirmed she couldn't have children? What if she'd been hopeful for nothing? What if everything still ended the same? But then she remembered something. Lily's tiny arms around her neck, Nathan's steady eyes telling her she wasn't broken. I'll go, Amara whispered, voice trembling. I need to know. Maya squeezed her hands. I'll come with you. 2 days later, Amara and Maya sat in a spotless medical office. The doctor was warm, calm, and patient. She listened to everything, Amara's history, her suspicions, her pain. Then she ran the tests. Now all that was left was waiting. Maya's phone buzzed with work notifications, but she stayed beside Amara the entire time. When the doctor finally came back, Amara's heart pounded so hard she felt dizzy. Amara, the doctor said gently, sitting across from her, I have your results. Amara's fingers dug into the armrest. The doctor continued, Yautko, there is no indication of infertility. Amara went completely still. I'm sorry, she whispered. You are perfectly capable of conceiving, the doctor said with a reassuring smile. There is nothing medically preventing you from having children. Amara stared at her, unable to breathe. Maya slapped a hand over her mouth. Oh my God, the doctor went on. Based on your hormone levels, test results, and overall health, there is no evidence you were ever infertile. No evidence. Never infertile. Amara's world spun, then snapped into clarity. Then why, she began, voice cracking, why would the previous tests all say I couldn't conceive? The doctor exchanged a troubled look with Maya. I can't speak to tests I haven't seen, she said carefully. But from what you've told me, sealed files, no written reports, your husband always present, something is not right. Amara's throat tightened painfully. So they lied to me. It's possible, the doctor said gently. Or someone misled you. But your current results are clear. Maya grabbed Amara's hand. You weren't the problem. A sob escaped Amara's throat, a broken, disbelieving sound. 10 years of marriage, shame, humiliation, being cast out, being told she was less of a woman, all of it had been built on a lie. She wasn't barren. She had never been barren. She cried so hard she couldn't breathe. Maya wrapped her arms around her, holding her tight. When Amara finally steadied her breathing, the doctor placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. You deserve the truth. Amara whispered, I did. But as the truth settled in, another fear took its place. How would she tell Nathan? And what would this mean for her future with him, if she even had one? Amara walked out of the clinic on unsteady legs, the air cool against her damp cheeks. Her mind was a storm, rage, shock, grief, relief, and something she couldn't name. Maya stayed glued to her side, ready to catch her if she collapsed. Do you want to go home? Maya asked softly. Amara shook her head. I need air, just air. They walked to a quiet park nearby and sat on a bench under a jacaranda tree. Purple petals drifted onto Amara's lap. She stared at them as if they held answers. My whole life was twisted by a lie, she whispered. All the tears, the prayers, the shame, all for nothing. Maya exhaled sharply. No, not for nothing. For your freedom, and now you've got it. Amara didn't feel free, not yet. Her phone buzzed. Nathan. A message popped up. Are you okay? I've been worried. Amara's chest pulled tight. She typed back slowly, "I'm fine. Just needed some time. I'll see you soon." Immediately, the typing dots appeared. "If you need me, I'm here." The simplicity of his words hit her harder than the results. Someone cared. Someone truly, deeply cared. And it wasn't out of obligation or blame or control. It was because he saw her. She wiped her face and stood. "I need to see him." Maya smiled knowingly. "Then go." The drive to Nathan's house felt longer than usual. When she arrived, Lily spotted her through the living room window and began bouncing excitedly. Before Amara could knock, Nathan opened the door. He stopped when he saw her face. "Amara, what happened?" She didn't answer. She couldn't, not with Lily watching, tiny arms already reaching for her. Amara forced a smile and scooped the little girl up. Lily rested her head on her shoulder, humming softly. Nathan lowered his voice. "Let's put her down for a nap." Amara nodded, following him upstairs. They tucked Lily into bed together. When the door clicked shut, Nathan turned to her immediately. "Tell me what's wrong." His voice was steady, but his eyes were full of concern, soft and protective in a way that made her heart ache. Amara swallowed hard. "Nathan, I found out something today. Something huge." He stepped closer. "Anything you tell me stays with me. You know that." She felt her throat tighten. "My in-laws, Tunde, they lied to me. All those years I thought I was infertile, all the tests, all the humiliation. It was all because of them." Nathan's expression shifted. Shock first, then anger so sharp she felt it like heat in the room. "What?" he said, voice low. "How? Why?" "My medical records were sealed," she whispered. "Tunde authorized it. His family manipulated everything. I was never infertile, not once. The new doctor said I'm perfectly healthy." Nathan's jaw clenched so hard she heard his teeth grind. "They robbed you of 10 years of peace." Amara's breath hitched. "I feel like my life was stolen." Nathan stepped closer, slowly, carefully, until he was standing directly in front of her. "Amara," he said gently, "look at me." She lifted her eyes. "You are whole," he said. "You were always whole. They just didn't want you to know it." Her chest crumpled. A sob escaped before she could stop it, and she covered her face, shaking. Nathan didn't hesitate. He pulled her into his arms, holding her with a strength that made her feel safe in a way she had never known. "It's okay," he murmured into her hair. "Let it out." She cried harder, gripping his shirt. All the years of pain, the weight of lies, the shock of the truth. It all poured out. Nathan held her through all of it. When she finally quieted, he didn't step back. His hand stayed on her back, slow and steady. "You didn't deserve any of that," he whispered. "Not a single moment." She leaned into him, exhausted. "I don't know what to do now." "I do," he said softly. "You move forward. With the truth, with your strength. You already survived the worst part." She looked up at him, wiping her cheeks. "Nathan, why do you care so much?" His eyes softened. "Because somewhere along the way you became important to me." Her breath caught. He searched her face as if scared he'd said too much. "If that's too soon or too heavy, I can—" Amara shook her head quickly. "No, it's not too soon." He exhaled, relief washing over him like a visible wave. But before either of them could say anything more, the doorbell rang downstairs. Nathan frowned. "Are you expecting someone?" Amara's stomach dropped. Cold fear pricked her skin. "No." The bell rang again, longer this time. Nathan stepped in front of her instinctively. "Wait here." Amara followed anyway, her steps shaky. Nathan shot her a concerned look but didn't stop her. He opened the door. Tundi stood there. His eyes landed on Amara instantly, and there was a desperate edge to his expression she had never seen before. "Amara, thank God. We need to talk." Nathan's voice was ice. "Leave." Tunde ignored him. "Amara, listen. My mother, she's been sick. She's been saying things. She confessed things. About the clinic. About your tests. We were wrong. I was wrong. Please just give me—" "No," Amara said. Her voice was soft but final. Tunde blinked, stunned. "What?" "I know everything," she said quietly. The sealed records, the lies, the sabotage, everything. His face went pale. Amara, I didn't deserve what you did to me, she said, shaking, and I don't owe you forgiveness. He reached toward her. Amara, please, just come home. Nathan stepped between them, fury simmering just below the surface. She is home. Tunde glared at him, then at her. You're choosing him over your own husband? You are not my husband, she whispered. You haven't been for a long time. Tunde's eyes filled with something dark and bitter. You'll regret this? Nathan took one step forward. Leave. Now. Tunde opened his mouth, then closed it again when he realized there was nothing left to fight for. He turned, walked to his car, and peeled away without another word. Silence settled over the doorway. Nathan turned back to her, worry etched across his face. Are you okay? Amara let out a long, shaky breath. For the first time, I think I am. Nathan brushed a tear from her cheek with a tenderness that made her heart flutter. I'm proud of you. She looked up at him, courage rising. Nathan? Yes? Can I choose this? Choose you? Choose us? His breath caught. A slow, warm smile spread across his face. Soft, astonished, hopeful. You already have. He leaned in gently, giving her time to pull back. She didn't. Their lips met softly, warm, hesitant, full of promise. It wasn't the beginning of a fairy tale. It was the beginning of something real. Upstairs, a sleepy little voice called, Mama? Amara froze. Nathan's eyes widened. Lily stood at the top of the stairs in her pajamas, rubbing her eyes. She pointed at Amara. Mama. Amara's heart cracked open. Nathan whispered, voice trembling, She hasn't said that word since her mother died. Tears filled Amara's eyes. She walked toward Lily slowly, gently. Lily reached for her. Amara lifted her into her arms, holding her tight. I'm here, she whispered, voice breaking. I'm here, sweetheart. Nathan watched them, his daughter clinging to the woman who had healed her, and himself quietly falling in love with her. And for the first time in years, Amara felt chosen. Not for what she could give, not for what she lacked, but for who she was. A new beginning, a new love, a new family, the life she was denied, finally hers. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more captivating tales, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps keep more stories coming your way.